This is why most local businesses struggle to get clients and exactly how to fix it. So most business owners think they have a client acquisition problem, when really what they have is an attention problem. And if you don't have a predictable way to get in front of real local people who can actually buy from you, that's why you're stuck. And you have to rely on things like referrals, word of mouth, or cold outreach that are unpredictable and outdated in 2025. And if you solve this one thing, which is getting consistent local attention, the leads, the calls, and the sales will follow. And if you think of attention like a river, it's always flowing. And you don't need to create your own current when you can just identify where it's already flowing and just show up and position yourself there. In places like Instagram and social media is where that attention lives right now. And if you're scrolling on Instagram every day, so are your ideal clients. So all you have to do is just start showing up there. So let's talk about it right here in this video. This is what most local business owners get wrong. Like I mentioned, they're posting randomly, chasing trends, hoping that the algorithm just finds local people for them. But the problem with that is that there's no real strategy, there's no systems, and there's no predictability when it comes to growing your business. So let's talk about what you can do instead. First point here is just getting seen by the right people. So before someone can trust you, they have to find you first. They have to know that you exist. Local ads is what we're using to actually ensure that you're getting seen by real local people on a daily basis. So this is generating you leads, it's getting you in front of people, and it's making sure that they know that your business exists. And like I mentioned, it's guaranteed attention in your service area, because what you can do is you can actually tell Instagram, hey, I want you to show this video on these specific phones in this specific zip code. So if you know the latitude and longitude coordinates of where your ideal customer is, if you know the zip code, if you know the neighborhood, however specific you want to get, you can target those ads to make sure that they're showing up in front of the right people. And I like to think of marketing as just a game of attention. So if you're watching what other people are doing and you're copying trends and just doing the same things that everyone else is doing, you're not going to be able to stand out and get people's attention, because when you follow those trends, you're just blending in with what everyone else is doing. So keep in mind with these ads, they're what is getting your business seen and what is generating you leads to begin with. But the rest of the content that you post on your page is what's actually building trust with the people who see those ads. So keep in mind, you don't really need to sell anything in your ads. Honestly, all you want to do is just be clear about who you are, who you help, and why it actually matters to the end person. So talk about the benefits that they receive after working with your business or experiencing your services. Don't try to sell what it is that you do in the ad. You just want to use the ad to get local traffic and get local people to your page, because once they get to your page, they're going to watch all the rest of your content, and that's what's going to be able to do all of the heavy lifting for you. So keep in mind when it comes to budget here and when it comes to starting out running these ads, you can start with as little as $20 to $30 a day. That's going to be enough to start getting you some local attention and some visibility. But if you want to scale faster and generate more leads faster and just get in front of more people, Instagram actually shows you how many people you're estimated to reach on a daily basis based on the amount of budget that you're spending on those ads. So let's say you're spending $20 to $30 a day and you're maybe reaching 4,000 to 10,000 people or 13,000 people on a daily basis, but you want to reach more, you can just increase that budget as you like. And you can turn these ads on and off at any point in time. You don't have to run them for a set amount of time. You have full control over the budget and over the targeting as well. So like I mentioned, if you know the exact latitude and longitude of where you want to show the ads, or if you just want to show them within a certain mile radius of your city, you have full control over where those ads show up. So last thing is that the goal is just to make sure that your business is known in the area every single day. And the most predictable and guaranteed consistent way to do that is with these local ads. So that's the very first thing. Let's move on to content. So the content on your page is what is actually working after you have people that have already found you. So the content isn't how people find you. And when I'm talking about content, I just mean the organic content that you're posting onto your feed. So these are anything that are not paid advertisements. those pieces of content are not how people find you, because those pieces of content get put out by the algorithm. So we all hear about the algorithm and about, oh, you got to trick it and find a way to work around it. When you're running paid ads, that is your predictable way to actually get local people to find your page. So you're not really playing the game of the algorithm anymore. It doesn't really matter because you have a predictable way to get local people to find your content in the first place. So now that anytime you post something onto your feed, all those people that are local in the area that found your page from the ad, they're going to see all the organic content that you put out on a daily basis. So at that point, you should really be building trust with that content. So you want to show your face. If you can see these examples down here, these are all local businesses that we've helped get on camera and actually show their face. And what they're doing is they're sharing results. As you can see here, this guy has some reviews behind him there. He has a Windows company, and it's great because he's sitting right in front of the window there that they just installed in one of their clients' homes. So you can see he's talking about the results that he's gotten for clients. He's telling stories. And a lot of this content is just really answering specific questions that their clients are already asking them. So they don't really have to go out of their way to come up with ways to develop this content or create this content. They just get inquiries all the time and they get frequently asked questions. And if one person asks a question, chances are tons of other people have had that question cross their mind at some point in time. So just being proactive and actually answering these questions ahead of time before they even come up, it's just going to make your sales process that much smoother. Because a lot of times people have these objections and they'll have limiting beliefs or thoughts in their mind as to why a certain service or solution wouldn't work for them. But if you can just fill your page with content that addresses all those things before they even come up in your clients' minds, once they see that content, they're going to feel like you're reading their mind. Like it's going to have this effect where they're thinking, wow, this person put so much thought into their service, into their process as a business, that they're actually proactive and they're actually addressing things before they become problems and explaining to me how I can just overcome them before they're even a real thing. So as subtle as that sounds, it really does make a big difference for your end client because it just shows that you're proactive. It shows that you're a problem solver. It shows that you know how to actually address things before they become issues. And all this just leads back to your brand, your authority, and your positioning as an expert. So super, super important. The simple and personal content works way better than the polished and scripted stuff. That's just what we found after working with a ton of business owners here is because people just want to see the authentic side. So if you can be authentic in your content, it's going to translate over to the conversations that you have with these leads and with these prospects. Because when people can see you beforehand through your content, they actually feel like they get to know you and like you and trust you. And then when they talk to you in person and there's congruency there and alignment between who they see in the content and then who they actually talk to in person, it just builds that trust even more. So if you're trying to act or you're trying to read scripts in your content, then when someone meets you in person, there's going to be a disconnect, right? There's going to be an issue with trust there because if you're just acting like someone you are on camera and then you actually show up in front of people, in their mind, whether they say it or not, maybe it's a subconscious thing, they're going to think like, something's off here. Like this person seemed one way in the video, but then when I talk to them, now they seem different. So authenticity always wins. If you just are authentic all the time, you never have to act and you never have to put on this mask or this fake look like you're acting. Just be authentic and it comes across to other people and they'll actually respect you more for it because you're just being yourself, you're being authentic. And believe it or not, that kind of inspires other people to be authentic themselves. It actually makes a difference when it comes to your content and just building trust with people. So I like to think of this content as, like I said, trust building, and it's just for your ideal client. So you don't have to worry about chasing trends or trying to go viral or blend in with anyone else, because the whole goal of this content is just to build trust with your leads and with your prospects that are coming in from your ads. So you're just making that content specifically for those people who will eventually end up working with you. You're not trying to make content to stand out on social media or just blend in with what everyone else is doing. So that's the second thing is the content. Moving on to the thinking like a business owner, not an influencer. So this is something I struggled with early on myself. And Influencers are just focusing on going viral, right? Their whole goal is just to get a bunch of views, get a bunch of followers, and get a bunch of likes because that's their metric for success. But as a business owner, we're just focused on building systems that are actually getting us clients and getting us leads predictably. So again, we're playing by different rules as a business owner. You're trying to get clients and trying to generate leads, so you're going to take different actions than somebody who is trying to be an influencer and build a big following and build a big audience. So as a business owner, we're using social media as a tool to generate leads and to drive sales for the business. So we're playing by different rules. So what I always say is that being consistent and being predictable with your visibility to the right local people is what ends up leading to success. So you're just showing up in front of the right people on a consistent basis with just simple content, with a clear message, and with super local targeting. That really is the formula. You're just getting that attention constantly from people in your area so that by the time they're ready to buy, you are the one that they think of. So just remember, you're not here for the likes or for the views. We're actually building a sales pipeline through this strategy. So that's really, really cool. Moving on, we want to let our brand do the heavy lifting. So this part is great. Keep this in mind. After someone sees your ad or any of your content, we already know that they're going to go and check out your profile. Just think about yourself when you're making a buying decision. If somebody sends you a message on social media, or if you see an advertisement and you're interested by it, what do you usually do after that? You probably go and you check on the profile, right? You click on it, you start looking around, you look at some of the videos, maybe you look at the stories that they have or the highlights that they have on their page, and then you look in their bio and see if there's a link, right? Oftentimes it's to their website or maybe it's to some external page, but you start looking around, right? So just because you know this information about yourself, if you can just start treating customers how you would want to be treated as a buyer, just put all that information there that they would need to know. Like I know for myself, if I'm going to make a purchasing decision and it's not like a cheap impulse buy, if it's over a couple $1,000s, I'm going to think to myself, man, I need to do some research before I actually, can trust that this person is going to help me with the service that I'm interested in buying. So what do? I go and look them up, right? I go to places like social media. I go to Instagram. I go to YouTube and go and see if they have any content there. So just imagine if you have somebody who's interested in spending tens or even thousands of dollars with you, and then you actually have content on Instagram and on YouTube that is just showing you just talking authentically, unscripted, and they can see who you are as a person. They can see your character. They can see how you show up online and how you represent your business. Do you think that would build more trust with them leading into that buying decision? I always just try to think of it from my own perspective. What would I want to see? What boxes do I need checked mentally before I actually trust someone enough to spend money with them? And because I know how I would want to buy, I can just reverse engineer that and make sure that I set this up for my own business. I want to have videos like this and content like this where people can just see me talk and see how I think, and I can share my processes with them so that they can actually get value out of that and actually build trust with me at the same time. So that's the goal with all this. It's not a matter of if they're going to do it, it's a matter of when. So if you already know this information and you choose not to implement this or do this for your business, then chances are competitors will do it or somebody else will do it, and those will be the ones that will end up building the trust and getting the business. So that's just what it comes down to at this point in time. So like I said already, just make sure that your page should instantly answer who you are. It should answer what do you do, and it should answer can I trust you. And the way that you're doing that is just through your content. So the talking head video style of content where you're just getting on camera and talking directly to your clients, that will build far more trust than any other flashy video that's just showing off your finished projects. Because remember, the goal here is just building trust with leads, building trust with prospects, and letting them see who you actually are. The really cool thing about this is that when you build your brand like this on social media, you're actually pre-selling leads. So what I mean by this is before they even talk to you, they already feel like they know you. This has happened to me, and it's actually happened to other clients that I've worked with as well. And it's really reinforced the fact that the more video content that you have of yourself, Whether it's short videos on Instagram, like 30 or 60 seconds, or even the longer videos on YouTube, something like this that's over 10 or even 20 minutes long. And it's just showing the person talking authentically on camera. Those videos will lead to sales conversations and appointments where people will jump on and they'll say, yeah, I'm already ready. Like, I already want to buy, just how much is it? Because they've already been pre-sold by all the other content that they've consumed. They've seen everything that they need to see. They've seen your thought process. They built that trust with you because you've put so much content and so much value out there to where they're already ready to make that decision. So that just goes to show how powerful this can be when you actually implement it for your business. And just imagine how that alleviates your sales process. If right now you're only doing cold outreach and you're relying on any other method that is not inbound leads or inbound traffic from advertising, it's so much harder to navigate those conversations because you're trying to sell so much. Whereas if you can just do the selling of actually explaining to people what you do, explaining to them your process, and doing that in video content that people can consume on their own time, and you're not trying to do that on a call with them, it changes the dynamic because their defenses are down because they're watching that content at a time where they actually want to consume it and they're interested in learning that information. So they're far more receptive to it. So when you're doing the cold outreach and you're having these cold sales conversations, it's very clear that you're just trying to sell people the whole time. So if you can just use your content to create a system where it actually does the selling for you, it's going to make your life so much easier. I've seen it myself. I've experienced it myself. But when I've had other clients tell me that they've experienced that exact same thing, it really just reinforces the fact that it actually works. So just take my word for it. That's what I've experienced. That's what I've had other clients experience as well. And some key things that I would look out for is, like I talked about, instead of focusing on going viral or focusing on following trends, those wouldn't be the key metrics that I'm looking at, is like followers or likes or views. I would start as a business owner looking at things like your cost per lead, right? Your cost per booked call, your actual return on ad spend. Those are the metrics that I would focus on versus the metrics of the platform, which are just views and likes and engagement. And if you think about it, those things are just kind of what keeps you addicted to the platform. It's what kind of gamifies the whole thing. Because when you see those numbers, think of yourself, right? If you open up Instagram and you go on the app and let's say you're posting content consistently already, what's like the first thing you go and look at? You go and look at like your stories, or you go and look at your reels and see, oh man, how many views did my last one get? And you're always comparing and you're always playing that game of just comparing those numbers. That's the addictive element there. It's gamified, right? It's baked into our human psychology. We're like, man, we want to beat our last numbers, or we want to do better than what everyone else is doing. Whereas again, if you're a business owner, those numbers are irrelevant. They don't matter. As long as you're getting local attention from those ads, and then you're actually generating sales and you're generating booked calls and you're generating leads from that content, that's all that matters. So I wouldn't use your metric of success as views or likes or engagement or anything that's on the platform. I would look at things like your cost per booked call, like I just said, your cost per lead, your return on ad spend. Those are the things that are actually going to matter. So the bottom line is you don't necessarily need more content right now. Chances are you probably just need more attention, and you just need a system to get that attention from the right local people every single day. And once you have this, you can stop guessing and you can actually start growing predictably. So if you want to stop struggling to get clients, just click the first link down in the description to apply below. And if you want to see what's actually working for local businesses right now, just click the video on screen right here.